How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. Today I want to talk to you about some of the top cryptocurrencies I've been buying recently. Also want to talk to you about why we're moving up in price right now, some big institutions buying, some whales buying, and some regulatory changes that have happened recently in a few different countries, and some new data we have from Russia on how much crypto they hold, along with why Fidelity thinks Bitcoin is the asset to hold. So we're going to get into a lot here today. If you guys don't mind hitting the like button and subscribe button, I really do appreciate that. Turn on the bell notification if you want to know right when I post a video. There also is a link underneath the video to FTX. In case you want to try it out, they have some of the lowest fees out there. They're cheaper than about 85% of other exchanges. And they do give you a chance to win free crypto every time you trade $10 or more. So that's kind of fun. They have a great user interface. I really like it. It reminds me a little bit of Robinhood, where it's really easy to use on your phone. Also, they do allow you to get into NFTs without having to pay those massive gas fees. So in case you want to dabble in that, it's a little bit lower barrier of entry. So definitely check out that link underneath the video. It's an app that I'm using a lot this year. Now, we are up a decent amount in crypto here today, about 5%, 4.5%. Some cryptos are up really significantly, like Solana, up 17% on the day. So why have we been going up recently? Well, we saw a big day in equities yesterday because of the fact that some Fed officials said that they are cautious about too many rate increases. They say that they express caution over the faster than necessary tightening because of a number of risks facing the economy in addition to the ongoing pandemic. So this led to a bit of a rebound in equities yesterday, and they're still actually earning a good amount. Out of the 183 companies in the S&P 500 that have already reported earnings, 82% have beaten or met projections, with profits coming in about 5.2% higher than forecasted. So overall, I think there's a mix of good earnings and the fact that there is some caution about too many Fed rate hikes. There still is some negative data from the economy coming in. So hopefully this all kind of makes people feel a little bit more comfortable that maybe we won't raise 7 times or 5 times like some people expect this year. It probably will be 2-3 times throughout the year, maybe 4 times like a lot of people think. Now, this has not stopped certain entities from buying a bunch of Bitcoin. MicroStrategy purchased an additional 660 Bitcoins for $25 million at an average cost of $37.8 thousand. It seems like they never buy the lowest price. They always wait for a jump, or they always buy right before we dump, but they continue to buy more and more Bitcoin. Now they have 125,000 Bitcoin, and they've acquired it for just over 30,000 per Bitcoin. So still a good amount in profit, about 20% up. They are accumulating. We also have other whales accumulating. So this is the supply per whale, and they label it as 100 to 10,000 Bitcoin, and this is at a 10-year high. This is really significant, and what they said was a good portion of this buying was right in this $36,000 to $37,000 range. Now, this I think is a really good sign because whales accumulate at the bottom, they distribute towards the top, and this shows that they here were waiting a little bit. So when we took that massive dip down, they waited a little bit. They wanted to see where things were going, and then they saw it come back up and they started buying pretty heavily. So that might also contribute to why we're seeing a little bit of a jump in price here today. We did get some more news from Russia too. We know that they went from banning crypto to now regulating it. And they estimate that houses in Russia own about $200 billion worth of crypto. Now, this has increased from something that they said recently. So they said here $214 billion. Recently, they said about 1/3 of that they owned. So either way, they own a good majority of the crypto out there. If they really own $200 billion, and they're still trying to get the final numbers on this, they're looking at IP addresses from their country. If they own $200 billion worth of crypto, that really shows you how much they believe in crypto, because they're not the wealthiest nation out there per person, but they own about 10% of the crypto out there. And even with this uncertain regulatory landscape in Russia, they've been accumulating because they really think that this is the way to financial freedom or security. And I think that's a big statement that they hold that much crypto. We also got some news from India that they're going to regulate and not ban Bitcoin and crypto, and they are introducing new rules in 2022. So I actually have a good portion of my audience from India, so I want to cover this. Now, they do sound like they are taxing, and I have to look this up a little bit more, but they sound like they're taxing a good amount about 30%. Now, I don't know what the tax system looks like in India. I heard from someone that this is even on transactions or even on transfers. I'm not exactly sure if that's true. If you guys want me to look more into this, I will. It's just not real clear from what I've read online. And then we do have leverage increasing a little bit in the market. So we had a dip to the $35,000 price range here. We were at a little bit of a dip in leverage from that day. You could see some people got liquidated, and then we kind of hit bottom. And now over the last day, we did increase a good amount in leverage. So we went up over 0.01, and the price increased just a little bit. So it does look like people are adding some leverage. I know a few people personally that are adding leverage too. So just be ready. Whenever we see a large amount of leverage, it means that there is a good amount of volatility probably coming at some point in the future. Now, this is a huge stamp of approval coming from Fidelity. Bitcoin is a superior form of money. They're talking about, first of all, that it is superior or different than a lot of the other altcoins or a lot of the other cryptocurrencies, but they also say that their paper called it a superior form of money rather than just a tech. It is the most secure decentralized form of asset, and any improvement will necessarily face trade-offs. Bitcoin clearly possesses a lot of good qualities of money, combining the scarcity, durability of gold with the ease of use, storage, and transportability of fiat. They believe that it possesses all the qualities of being a sound form of money, as it doesn't have an organization running it, and it doesn't pay a dividend or have cash flows. So this is kind of comparing it to maybe some other cryptocurrencies that have foundations behind it or have companies running it. They say that they're not going to be so bold as to say that Bitcoin is going to be the only form of money, but they do think it will dominate the digital asset ecosystem due to the very powerful effects of networks. So basically what Raoul Pal says, which is there's a network effect, many people believe in it, many people use it, so it is going to be the dominant form of money at this point. They also say that Bitcoin is going to be an entry point for traditional investors into the digital asset market. And we've seen that with a lot of, if you ever look at some of the brokers' investor presentations, a lot of people get into stablecoin and then Bitcoin and then Ethereum and then some of the other assets after that. But if you're someone that wants to invest in a digital asset, Bitcoin makes a lot of sense. Going to some of the best cryptos to buy right now. Honestly, I've been buying a decent amount since we started dipping recently. Now we've come up a good amount, and I'm not going out there trying to put all my money in crypto right now because I'm not one of those people that needs to see Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies get back over a certain point to continue to DCA. I know some analysts and some traders like to do that. I like buying when it's low, and if it falls further, I'm going to keep on buying. So I'm not going out of my way to buy a lot right now that we've pumped up to 38, 39,000, because we are just retesting where we've been rejected a few times. But if you're someone that's looking at cryptos to buy, and maybe you're a little bit patient, or maybe you're impatient and you want to buy right now, let's go through some of the top cryptos. I think Bitcoin's always a good way to go. It is, like I said earlier, like Fidelity said earlier, it's going to be the asset that a lot of people get into first, and it's going to be what a lot of people trust and believe in because it is the largest asset out there. It's immutable, meaning it's not going to really change, and it is a technology that a lot of people believe in. There's a huge network effect to it. So as time goes on, more and more Bitcoin will come to market, but really it's going to be net deflationary because people are going to lose it or transfer it to the wrong wallet. And overall, it's going to become more and more scarce, and there are going to be institutions that continue to buy it up. So getting your hands on a full Bitcoin, if you can do that, I think will be huge in the years moving forward. If you can do more than that, that's great. If you can do less than that, it's still worth working towards trying to get more Bitcoin, in my opinion. Now, of course, you always have to weigh this out versus other assets and make sure that you're comfortable with the risk. If it falls down 50%, are you excited or are you sad? That's probably a good barometer to tell you how much risk you have in the market if you have too much risk in it. Then Ethereum. I think Ethereum is a good one to buy too. It's obviously come up a little bit since just a week or two ago when it was down at 2,100. So I think that if you really want to add, that would have been a great time to add, and I was doing the same at that point. But at 2,700, it's still significantly off of its high. A lot of people, myself included, think that could get to $10,000 this year if we do see a nice rally in the overall crypto market. Now, it's going to be a little bit dependent on the Fed, but overall, crypto's still going to expand. It's still going to grow whether the Fed tightens or not. That's just another constraint on it, but I don't think it will necessarily stop us from growing overall as an ecosystem and as an asset class. I think Ethereum transitioning to 2.0, if they can do that, will be huge. Of course, there will be a big unlock when that happens, and some people will sell because they are significantly in the profit, but I think that when we get that announcement, it will shoot up in price, and then also after some people dump, it will probably move up from there, and a lot of people will buy when they see that it did move over to 2.0. And then BNB, I think, is a good long-term hold just to buy and not really think about, stake a little bit and just let it sit. I think they're a really easy platform for new cryptos to come onto, and it is significantly cheaper than something like Ethereum. It is very centralized though, and that's the risk that comes with it. But they do quarterly burns, and it's going to continue to grow. The company itself is growing, and as more users come on, Binance is by far the biggest broker out there. Cardano has been hit hard over the last 4 or 5 months. It has multiple DEXs coming to the mainnet now though, so hopefully as they can stop some of the congestion or clear some of that up, hopefully there's more DeFi on Cardano, and hopefully it becomes the chain that we all want it to be, especially with Hydra down the road, making it infinitely scalable. It is a long-term play in my opinion. Now, over $1, I think you could have gotten it under $1 just a few days ago. So if you're willing to wait a little bit longer, I think that support has kind of been broken a handful of times, so we might get some more weakness. You might be able to pick it up for a little bit less, but it is severely beaten down from its all-time high. Solana, I think, is a great pickup. This is, besides Ethereum and Bitcoin, this is what I've been picking up the most of over the last month or so. And at $106, it's still significantly off its high, about 60%. It has had some issues coming down, not being able to work at several times, or just being highly congested, but that is a problem of them being so popular. They still run way more transactions per second than Ethereum, and they are much, much cheaper and easier to use in my opinion. So picking them up at $107, I think is great. Of course, there are some whales that are in Solana. As time goes on, they will continue to sell out. I'm guessing that's part of the reason it's down so much right now. It's because some whales that got in earlier, some VCs, were up probably 100x or more, and they did take some profits. It only makes sense at some point to take some profits. If you have $1 billion in Solana and your net worth's $1.01 billion, you might want to take some profits from Solana. That's just my opinion. Whenever you have 100x or 200x or 500x, it makes sense to take some profits. Then Terra, I think, is also a good one to buy. I really like the Terra ecosystem, mostly Anchor Protocol. It did get hit hard recently with some people that were not the best actors that had been connected to some previous scams that were using the Terra ecosystem. I don't think it's anything to be concerned about long term, but it did make some people worried, and it did lead to a sell-off in Terra, and it was a high flyer, so it was bound for a pullback. Now, getting outside the top 10, I think you're getting riskier because we don't know the environment we're getting into. We don't know exactly where the cryptocurrency market is going, but I do think there are some great cryptos outside of the top 10, and maybe I'll make a video talking about some of them in the future. Let me know if you'd like that underneath the video. I do like Polygon. I like some other cryptocurrencies too, so I will talk about that more if you want, but today I think we're just going to talk about the top 10. Now overall, like I said, it is a great day in the cryptocurrency market. We're up pretty significantly. The overall stock market was looking pretty good when it opened today, and yesterday was a good day too. So the question is now, do we break above where we've been at before? We broke above a couple resistances that we had before, but we kind of got rejected back down. So right now, it's a question of where we go going forward, but I think now is not the worst time to accumulate if you're looking long term. But if you're looking at buying now, I might ask why you weren't buying a week ago when we had much lower prices. But overall, I think that we are trending in the right direction for cryptos and equities. But let me know your thoughts on this underneath the video. Definitely check out the link to FTX underneath the video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.